Hey, insiders. What do hit shows such as Shameless, Grey's Anatomy, and Lucifer all have in common? Our next guest, Deborah Delshad, Senior Director of Sync at Angry Mob Music. We discuss the role of the independent music publisher in the market today, as well as some of the greatest challenges facing independent publishers and songwriters, and much, much more. Stay tuned.
This episode of the MUBUTV Insider video series is brought to you by the Music Business Registry. The Music Business Registry is the leading music industry publisher of the most up-to-date contact information for major and independent record label A&R, music publishers, artist managers, music attorneys, music supervisors, and much, much more. The Music Business Registry is the trusted industry standard and source serving the music business community for over 30 years with the most accurate and up-to-date contact information available. Their titles include the A&R Registry, the Film and Television Music Guide, the Music Publisher Registry, and the Music Attorney Registry. All of their publications are available in PDF, CSV, or online subscription. Visit musicregistry.com and use coupon code MUBUTV10 at checkout. That's musicregistry.com, coupon code MUBUTV10. When you're ready to put your music to work, musicregistry.com.
I managed to catch up with my dear friend Deborah Delshad from Angry Mob Music. Deborah, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
You know, I always like to start my interviews with asking, was there a point, or was it even conscious to you, that you remember in your life when you said, the music business is going to be the professional path that I get into?
I mean, I grew up in a musical family, and so I always loved music, and I play instruments, clarinet and piano. I just never knew how I was going to make money at it. So I kind of wrestled with where would I fit in. So I went the other route in terms of school. I went undergraduate to SC, and I went to law school. And then in law school is really where I reignited that passion. I wrote an article actually when it was LimeWire time, and I wrote an article that was, I kind of did it about like, is downloading those songs stealing? Is it like a white collar crime, stealing from writers, stealing from the labels? How can we prevent this? And when I did that, a couple attorneys called me that started working in synchronization. And that's kind of where I started. And my late dear friend, Linda Komorski at the time, had told me that I should probably start at the bottom and just start as an assistant, give up the cushy job in law, and see if you like it. So that's what I did. I gave up everything and said, I'm going to try this for a year, see if I like it. And if I do, then, and I can move up, then I will. And if I don't, then I'll go back the other way. And I've never looked back.
You've never looked back?
Never looked back.
You've been in publishing for a while now, and I'm curious, from the standpoint of looking at it perhaps historically, but recent history, such as like 5-10 years.
Okay.
What's the lay of the land today? How has it changed as a publisher today in the landscape that you have to operate in terms of getting, syncs, covers, what have you?
I think the business has changed. Obviously, the blaring fact is that budgets have gone down, sync fees have gone down. But what has also changed, the positive part about all this, is there's more opportunities for bands. There's more opportunities for writers and indie bands and up-and-coming bands to really get into the sync world. Mm-hmm. And years ago when I started, for example, an advertiser would never consider using a song that no one had known about.
Right.
And now they can, not only do they consider it, they want to break that artist. So I think that with some of the bad stuff that's happened, a lot of good things have happened as well. And maybe the publishing side has changed a little bit. There's more opportunities for publishing, for publishers to get involved with indie artists where maybe they wouldn't take as many chances on them before. And I think now publishers are willing to take more risks.
That's interesting to hear because, as you and I both know, labels are not willing to do that today. Labels want, I think, what I like to call let the natural forces of the marketplace develop talent for them, to elevate it. Mm-hmm. But you're seeing more and more publishers take on that role of the development process in the marketplace today than you have before?
Well, I think that some publishers do take on that role in terms of investing in a new artist and a band and kind of helping them stir their position in the marketplace, and that helps maybe a label pay a little bit more attention to them. I come more from the publishing side. I still think that label partners work really hard to develop artists. I think there's a lot of fantastic A&R people out there that really work hard at developing amazing bands and artists. And I think the two of us all working together helps make, an artist or a singer-songwriter's career move forward.
It's interesting in listening to you speak about this, because one of the things that comes up as I'm listening to you is you're speaking about the A&R aspect, which to me is sort of a member of the team. It's, label partner, as I think the word you used, and publishing partner. To you, Deborah, how important is the team around an artist when you're getting ready to sign them or considering signing an act? Is that an important component in your decision?
It is for me personally. The reason being is if I'm going to be first and foremost, I need great music. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I want a great song that speaks to me. I want an artist that speaks to me. Something that will help me in my sync world, for example. Right. So I'm not thinking from an A&R perspective. My ears are always the sync ears. What will sell a TV show? What will help perpetuate a story, to my clients? What will help sell a brand? What will push a trailer over? So I'm always thinking from the sync perspective, and the A&R perspective is super important. I think the team is important to me because if a band and artist has been associated, let's say, with a manager that's difficult, or if they've had their music pitched by, let's say, a third party that I feel has been unethical, or if I feel that they've had people around them that will steer them in the wrong direction, that does play a part into what I think about it. But at the end of the day, it is really about the music if it speaks to me. I do think it's important for upcoming singer-songwriters and for indie bands and for people to really get a good handle of the team. And that's across the board. I mean, I've had people reach out to me, let's say, who are at a major label, or a major publisher, and I've said, have you reached out to your film and TV crew? And they haven't. They've barely even spoken to their A&R contact when they first signed. So some of this onus is on the band and the singer-songwriters and them to really make sure that they have a good team around them and they stay in contact with those people. The one who squeaks the loudest gets the most attention, and they all should be doing that. They should be calling all of their film and TV people. I'm not saying bombard them, but definitely take one meeting once in the year and just say, here's my new music. This is my passion. This is my love. What can we do together to make things happen? The more upfront you are and the more accessible you are, I think it makes people use your music more often.
Right, and it also develops those relationships.
For sure. This business is all about relationships. I spoke about it today on the panel, and it's crucial. And that's why it's important to figure out who's the best person to sign with you, because I kind of call it like dating. You know what I mean? You have to date these people and see who do you believe in? Who believes in you? Who do you want to spend time with? Who do you feel comfortable calling? Do they answer your calls? Do you want to go to dinner with them? Do they want to invest in you? The more the relationship, the 2-on-2 are invested in each other, the better experience it will be for both parties.
One thing I want to talk to you about is the world of syncs. And the world of syncs, as we know, has been challenged to me by the fact that on a couple fronts, from the business point of view, labels, publishers don't have the royalties that they once did from sales, mechanicals, so forth. So there's this pressure. On the other side of it, there's a reality in the marketplace that technology has allowed everybody and everything into that game. From your point of view, has that affected the prices that you can charge for syncs today?
Everything has affected the price, I think, look, you have the opportunity to say no to things. And I have asserted that right on certain things because I feel it's important to protect my bands, my artists, my roster. And so I've had to say no, or I've had to go back and say, can we work a better deal? How can we make this work? Can we get 2 songs in? What can we do to make this more profitable for both sides? Mm-hmm. Of course, the influx of music, the influx of pitching people, the entire influx has affected some of the drop in the market value. But I feel like we can't always point fingers at everyone all the access to music. We can't point fingers to the internet. There's no real point fingers. I mean, a lot of it is also supervisors need more on their budgets, you know? And I think if they had more on their budget, and some of that comes from the producers of the TV shows and the films, to give them more money. You know, what ends up happening is that the supervisors only get a certain amount of money to do everything. And the budget of music is always cut. And so it's frustrating for them and it's frustrating for us. And I just spoke to a supervisor the other day, and she said to me that the producer said to her, wow, there's so much social media happening as a result of episode blah, blah. And he said, what was the difference? And she said, you gave me more on that budget, my music budget. So she had, I think, better songs in the episode, things that it spoke to more people. And so as a result, there was more social media attention to that. Now, did that producer give that supervisor more money later on for more episodes? No. So part of this is really on everyone. We talked a lot today on our panel about education, a lot of education in terms of maybe the directors and the producers, and seeing what the music really does and how it really affects other people, and why it is so important to give the supervisors more money for their budget to do more for us. So I don't think there's one person to point fingers at. I think we all collectively have to work together to either say no, or to find better opportunities, or to rally behind the supervisors. Like the Guild of Supervisors is super important, because they're really fighting the fight for the supervisors, whether it's getting health insurance, whether it's giving them more money on budgets, all of those things to give them the tools to make my job better and for me to meet my goals for my company.
In publishing, with film and TV, with syncs, with commercials, what are some of the new areas that you're seeing in terms of your world of syncing music to? What are some of the new ones that have developed?
Apps, I think is coming around kind of big. I think people are still trying to figure out how to monetize it and where the music can go and what we can do. But I think it's going to be our kind of new digital way of also getting new music. So I think we have to really keep a good tab on it. I've spoken to a lot of people that are developing new apps, and I'm trying to stay really abreast of that, because I feel like before you know it, they're all going to be wanting music. And so we have to figure out what's the best way to do that in terms of licensing, in terms of monetization, things like that. The other thing is maybe the difference in terms of TV, where we're getting more on Amazon, more subscription TV. So it's more on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, those things.
Which are really coming up now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I think it's staying focused on how we can monetize those areas, make sure that we're maximizing all the money possibilities, because they're all new technologies. So they kind of, years ago, when we would clear for all media, we kind of knew what all media meant.
Right.
We don't know what all media means anymore.
That's right.
So from a licensing perspective, that's a little scary. And so I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to monetize, and are we maximizing all of our possibilities when they say all media? Or in 5 years, is there going to be some new technology I never thought of that now I've encompassed in that deal and I'm not going to make money off of it? So I think it's keeping a good handle on the technology. The TV, the subscription TV, I think is going to be the newest, biggest thing right now. And really some of the apps. And there's look, at the end of the day, there's more opportunities. Mm-hmm. People are doing all kinds of different joint ventures. People are thinking differently, not just in film and TV. Maybe they're having the supervisor be the actual artist, curating the entire soundtrack. Sometimes hotels are figuring out, we want better music in our hotels. What kind of deal can we do with publishing? What can we do with another label? So there's more opportunities, and I think we just have to stay focused on some of those opportunities.
Okay. Speaking of opportunities, a lot of our viewers are songwriters, they're producers, they're artists.
Yes.
What are some concrete steps that you could advise them in terms of either reaching someone like you,
okay,
or talking about when is it appropriate to reach out to someone like you as far as the timing, or just things that they can be doing in their career to further it?
There's several. I mean, the first thing like I did is I aligned with someone who was already in publishing when I first started in this business. So I think it's important for them to find a mentor. I think it's important to come to events like the Billboard Film and TV Conference or come to other events and try to get a handle of what this business is all about. So it's really, so one is about researching, doing their own homework. The other one is aligning with a mentor, someone either on the publishing side, the label side. It may not be someone who works for them, but someone that can give them some good sound advice. And then I think really finding the right company. Like I said before, it's really about dating. So I think they really have to research all of the kinds of companies and find the one that best suits who they are. You know, their music maybe, if their music is strong in TV, then they should align with maybe someone who has great experience in TV. If they're more a commercial kind of person, and that comes with you trying to figure out who you are as an artist or a singer-songwriter. Your music is not going to be perfect on everything. So I think you have to figure out where your strengths are and work those strengths. Okay. So my advice to them is to really seek out people to give them great advice. I would make sure that all of your songs can be cleared, make sure you're working with co-writers. I think even getting in the studio with other co-writers that maybe already have publishing deals, because then those songs could be pitched by someone else and it could start the process for you.
Right, very much so.
I think doing great follow-ups with people. I think keeping emails short, not hounding people, never handing someone a CD that's like, you know, with handwritten notes on it, making sure that everything's grace noted. You know, like the first thing I do if I get music from someone and it comes up track 1, track 2, track 3, I mean, I'm over it.
Yeah.
So they got to do,
unprofessional.
They just got to do all that research and make sure the music sounds new and fresh. Don't give us music that's like from 5 years ago that you're still pitching. Right. You got to go back in the studio and rework it and make new music.
Okay.
It's all the things you would do to find any job. Okay. You know, I would think of this as going after a job, going after a CEO, going after a company. Do all the things you would do. You know, do all the research on the companies, look at their Twitter feed, look at their Instagram, know the players, do things that you would want to do to get hired for a position. And those are the things I would do.
Okay, that's great advice.
Okay.
That's great advice.
And have fun.
And have fun in the process.
Keep the creative juices going. You know, this business is really amazing. I get to listen to music all day long. I mean, how fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
How fantastic. So I think don't get bogged down in all the negative stuff. You know, lift yourself up and try to find other ways to make it so that you can keep going forward.
In your career, was there a particular book or film that you came across, professionally speaking, that you found to be really inspirational in your own career?
I mean, it's been a long time, but I took a lot of music publishing classes or entertainment law classes in law school, and I read a lot of books, you know, whether it's the Brabeck brothers or just all kinds of I did a lot of research. So I don't know if there was one in particular, but I'd say even being in the business, growing up and watching movies, let's say watching Say Anything and hearing Peter Gabriel's song come on, the boombox.
Right.
Or even Aerosmith's song that came in, what was that film?
Don't Want to Miss a Thing?
Yeah, it was Armageddon. Thank you. You know, key moments when you see those kinds of things, you think to yourself, this is why I love this business. Because why they put that song in, it worked for me too.
Right.
Sorry. And so I think I continuously reach out to my clients and my supervisors and say, that song, I get it. That song was friggin' amazing. You know, and everyone has their one moment of hearing a great song, whether it's on a TV show or a trailer. And I'm always looking for those opportunities that inspire me to think to myself, I wish I thought of that. I wish I had that song. What more could I do to be a part of that? And so that's what kind of inspires me, just going back to what I do and seeing great placements and books. And now with social media and stuff, there's so many ways to get hold of people and so many ways to touch them when we couldn't do that, you know, when I first started in this business. So I'd say try to do those things. You know what I mean? Make an impression on someone. Make a difference in this industry and stay positive. And it's all about relationships, you know. We've known each other for many, many, many years. And through ups and downs in this business, I stay in contact with those people because you never know. You could be my next boss.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's what it's all about.
Wow. Some really great insights from Deborah, especially for all of you looking to create your own independent music publishing company today. So, insiders, here's the question of the day. What did you feel were the most important factors in our conversation with Deborah? Was it the role of the independent music publisher in today's market? Or was it the challenges that independent publishers and songwriters face today? Or maybe it was something else that stood out to you. If you have any ideas or experiences that you'd like to share regarding this video, we'd love to hear from you and connect in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. You can also check out a summary of this episode and everything we talked about in the YouTube description as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content you want to see on our channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.